grace, and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to WLTK-DB Let's Talk Radio. It's great to see you. We are at Friday. Can you believe it? Hello, Tracy. Friday. Wow. End of the week. August has been just roaring by. I'll keep saying it because that's how I feel. I wanted to talk about, for the topic of the day, kind of emerging energy, because our energy is always changing and our ability to see energy is always changing. That means that we are constantly in flux. I mean, that's the state of the world. That's the nature of the world. Sometimes we're aware of we're in flux, and to varying degrees of that, yes. And sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we feel like we're staying the same, and really, honestly, we're always changing. And the fun part of developing is when we are coming into our spiritual gifts and we're wanting to work with our spiritual gifts, we're actually willing the change forward. Like most times when we are in life, we notice change and maybe we feel uncomfortable, like, wow, like my schedule is changing, or wow, my friends are changing, moving. You could be even looking for a new career, or you just, your body's changing, right? And you're aware of the change and you're like, whoa. But like in spiritual development, you're actually willing the change. You're actually saying, I need a change. I'm ready to change. And when you're looking for certain results, like you are so hyper focused on the change. And it's funny because it's a very real thing. It's burnout is real. Before people become aware within their spirituality, there's this phrase called like spiritual madness, and it's basically someone like waking up to all the signs and symbols around them, and they're having experiences, and they're like, my life as it was is not okay anymore. I have to become different. And so they're aware of the change and they want to enact more change. And so that spiritual development can then lead to that burnout, because it's just like, I'm aware that this exists. So I'm aware that spirit exists, or I'm aware that I'm a medium or a psychic, or I'm aware about astrology or numerology, healing work. And now, I want to do this, right? I want to do this. And it's funny because it's not a tangible, I guess, plan. We think it's tangible. We're like A to B. By the end of the year, I'm going to be seeing auras. By the end of 2 years, I'm going to have my own healing practice. At the end of 3 years, I'm going to start going out on tour and teaching classes. And it's funny because you never know, because spirit is the one that really guides us. We're given these humble looks into our life of, wow, my life has to be different. Why have I done this before? Why am I here? It's time to change. This no longer serves me. And then when we get into motion of how we do want to change our lives, spirit is like, oh yeah, remember that awareness? It's still ever building. So you want to change, and you're led to certain areas, but you'll never know exactly how it'll unfold until you get there. And you just got to trust that, even if you're 10 years into your spirituality or 20 years into your spirituality, you just have to trust that. You really do. And so emerging energy, so there's the philosophy of it. Aren't words fun? And then there's like kind of some of the experiences of it. Like I remember reading like some comments that people talking about like, oh, I'm starting to see like mist form around me. Like, is that spirit? What is that? And I think that's a great clairvoyant first experience. I mean, some people would be like, what is that? Other people would be very intrigued. And there's like this spectrum of knowing what it is and what it represents. And so I think that's like a very common for people who are clairvoyant, because we all have different gifts, like the clair sentience of the group will start to have a lot more experiences with empathy and like feeling maybe pain in their body or these weird sensations, right? Or having this awareness of people and spaces. And the clairvoyance of the group, I just want to reiterate, because everyone's awakening opens like different, or everyone's connections with energy. The clairvoyance of the group, they'll start seeing like that energy mist. They'll start seeing the outlines of people, or they'll see an outline of mist around their body. It almost looks like fuzzy, like light. And it's usually like a white color. Some people see clear, some people see gray. And what it is just the aura. It's an aura of energy. And if someone has an aura of energy, that means they are a being that has a frequency, and that frequency is a soul. It's a soul with a charge. And you can even argue it's a soul with a body, because our bodies are electromagnetic, as well as our souls are electromagnetic. So there's a body of energy, and most times it is indication of the aura rather than a physical body, right? But it's fun to talk about that. And so you'll see your own outline. And the very first times we see energy, sometimes we see outlines of it before we see color. We just see like a layer of there's something beyond, the outer layer of our physical body. You might see a layer of energy like about an inch away from our body. And so, yeah, the most common colors I see people or hear people talking about are like that gray clear, and they can almost see like static. So it's almost like, again, this vibration with like a white or a clear rather than just a color or even a defined shape. It's like a wall. It's a vibrating vibration, and people go, "What is that? What is that?" Or they might see an outline of that behind them in the room or standing beside them, and that's spirit. It's another indication of there is life force energy around, something with consciousness, something with a charge, right? Something that can set its own vibration and co-create in reality around us. And so that is us, and that is another. And so usually it is a loved one, it is a guide, it is somebody right beside us to encourage us, to help us. And a lot of people freak out when they have experiences where they see, like, let's say, outlines of people in rooms, or they sense spirit. And it's just like, I want you to think about it. This is some of your first experiences that you've ever had in your life of seeing something that maybe um, is human, right? Human like, I would say. So it's like, is that grandfather in the room, or maybe it's a guide, but that there's a figure, right? And you're able to sense it. The reason of that is because your guides and your loved ones are making sure they're with you at the inception of your experiences. When you are sensing them, it's not like your angels and your team that protects you, your guides, your loved ones aren't going to be like, okay, she's having or he's having his first spiritual experience. They're freaking out. Let's just watch them squirm, and we're gonna let an odd entity into the room, and we're not going to protect them. It's just going to be a free for all. No, like, your first spiritual experiences, as scary as they are really surrounded and protected by your loved ones. you have a whole team around you. Yeah, you have free will. Like if your free will is just like, screw it, I want to meet something a little bit perplexing and sinister, that's your free will at act. But if you are just looking to sense spirit and feel something greater than yourself, and you feel like you're sensing energy or hearing energy if you're clairaudient, or feeling energy if you're clairsentient, and you're like freaking out because you're just opening yourself up to this world, your spirit team and loved ones and angels are protecting you. They're making sure that it goes well because they have more chances than to talk to you and help you and guide you, right? So I just want to put that in your back pocket, because the emerging energy that we have, and we could talk way more about you know, uh, the emergence of auras and colors and shapes and energy fields and spirit. And we could also talk about the emergence of a lot of other things. But I think like a lot of people, when they first start having experiences, they're really scared because nothing in their life had been an experience similar to that. Probably maybe when they were a child, maybe when you're a child you had a specific experience, but yeah, it's quite different from what our daily day to day is. It's the truth, and no one really has described it for us a lot of times too. And the more and more people are in this work, and the more they have time and credibility and trial and error, um, they can really start setting the pathway. I think there's been a lot of people in like England, the world famous Arthur Findlay College, AFC. It's a great school. They've been around for like close to 100 years. I think maybe not, but like, man, I have to do the math of when like they opened. They've been 60 plus years. I should know this. But anyway, anyway, the buildings has been around for that long. I have to find out with the inception of the school, but they've been around for a long time, and they really helped. And spiritualism before that, and they really helped mediums who are having a lot of experiences, psychics were having a lot of experiences, like kind of have this home base or have teaching and structure. And there's certain again structures that go into that, which are very, very helpful. But the more people that explore their gift and have a lot of time and credibility and years behind their belt, and I really think like to really start changing the way that we see things, and presenting people roadmaps, and showing them and guiding them and teaching them. um, and this is what I'm talking about with like really boundary pushing ideologies. Like there has to be experience within the work of like 10, 20 years, and that's for the ideology pushing stuff. If you had an experience and you think that there's something that you can help teach somebody, you don't have to be a master. You just start sharing your gift, sharing, and just really take responsibility for what you're sharing. Really say, hey, like, how do I know what I know? Or be very humble and forthcoming of, hey, I'm new, or maybe I've just been doing this for 5 years, but I have seen this within my work. There's just going to be so many more ideologies of how we connect to spirit and work to spirit as the years go by, because the structure of it is really different, and more people are intuitive. More people are intuitive. More people are psychic and mediums now. More people have opened up because anyone can do this work. So a lot of people have embraced it, and everyone has different gifts. Like I believe that anyone can become a medium, and once you become a medium, you will be a medium or psychic, right? Depending what you want to work with more. But anyone can become a psychic or medium. And your gifts will be around your energy, your life experiences, this one and prior, and your interests. And it's just everyone is slightly different with how they connect to the other side, and that's very true and that's very real. There's commonalities, and the more we kind of have these cookie cutter classes, the more people are shaped into boxes of what mediumship is. And really, it's so much more than just mediumship is or it isn't. Mediumship is, it's spirit, it's everything. It's connecting to everything. It's connecting to a frequency that's not physical, which is connected to energy, right? And it's just going to unfold, and it just becomes interesting. So I just want to, last thing I'm going to say is a lot of people get really freaked out when they have their first spiritual experiences, whether seeing spirit, hearing spirit, feeling spirit. Um, and I just, in my experience, the spirit world really does protect you. And it is very natural to feel scared. And since we're scared, we, are some of our first thoughts of, is the spirit good or bad? Am I safe? Am I in danger? There's dark energy around because, I'm doing something that no one else in my family is doing, or, everyone else doesn't understand. So I'm doing this in the cover of night. So then am I bad? And it's just like, no, unless you intend for something very sinister and you want to meet that chaotic energy, specifically want to meet that chaotic energy, there's nothing negative about it. You're having an experience where you're communicating with something that is just not physical, and it's attached to the meaning of life that we go on, and the people around you supporting you are the closest people you can imagine, your angels, your guides, and loved ones. And that's what after all this time and work, and that's something that I do want to carry on and present to people, that idea. So yep, I have my thoughts, I have my feelings, and I have my sharings, and there you go. We're going to start some readings. So people put down your questions. And please, if it's a general reading, I'll pull some cards for you. If it is a question, I will pull some numbers. I do numerology, a lot of numerology readings on the fly. And we'll get going. So we'll see who has questions and who wants a reading. Getting all my stuff ready. Right. We also take questions today too. Someone has a question. Yeah, if I see a question, usually I answer it. Question about like energy, because it can give insight to everybody. So someone is asking, do you feel UFO encounters are connected to spirit or just spirit protection? Oh, UFO. So that is something that I believe in. Aliens, definitely, for sure. And I do think that there are other forms of life, right? We're not the only form of life. And then there are many forms of life in the universe, in physical form. And then obviously there are things within, you could argue, in the same universe, but are of spirit form that are still present. You could talk about dimensions versus universes, because those are different things. And so, yeah, you get kind of like technical, because it's like the universe versus dimension. And like the spirit world or heaven is considered more of a dimension rather than a universe. And we are alive in this universe, and UFOs, aliens, they're alive in this universe too, and we haven't quite had full contact with them, so there's a lot of speculation. And so I think I've had like one experience where I felt like I was visited by some, but again, it could have been somebody from the sport world. So I haven't had personally, and I talk about my personal experiences or my beliefs. I haven't had one where I was like, oh, that's absolutely an alien. I've had experiences where I go, okay, I'm going to philosophize what this is, and it could be in this category, right? And then I've had other like friends and mediums where they've definitely have had experiences and they've had more than one. And kind of the thing that I hear about them talking about is that the energy feels like very progressive, like they're trying to help the human race, they're trying to move the human race forward, and they're trying to assist with the consciousness. And so a lot of people have very different experiences though. And so I do think that we're supposed to grow. Our spiritual path is for us to grow and learn. And I do think that eventually we will be in a world where there's other beings that aren't just us, humans that we are connected to and learning from, interacting with. So I do think, aliens and UFOs and us being able to recognize what that is and have communication with what that is, I do think that is assisted by spirit because spirit shines the light on awareness. Why wouldn't, if beings are benevolent and they're around and they want to work with us, and let's say maybe they're on a time frame for whatever reason, they haven't stepped forward completely, or there's an agenda, but there's something important within a small connection or a moment, spirit is going to shine a light and awareness of, hey, look over here, and open up moments for connection. So I do believe some of the sightings are, encouraged by a higher power guiding us to look, observe, experience. Absolutely. I definitely do not have a specialty in the category of aliens. The closest thing I can kind of give you a story in, and again, I think it was more like a guide, but it felt like a being from a just it didn't feel like a human being. Sometimes guides feel like humans, but guides can be whatever, right? So it's like question mark. But I was going to like this spiritual workshop, and it was all week. And so I would like drive up every day to go to the workshop at this point. And they were very long days because it was like this immersive um, workshop experience. So maybe it would start at like 9, but it would go to like 6 or something like that. And so there was a lot of meditation work, a lot of exercises, and it was all to open up our energy and our sensitivities. And so one of the nights I came home, I remember it was like a longer drive, but by the time I got home, I was really tired and I had some work to do. I don't know how I was up, but basically I found myself in bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and I knew I had to wake up at like 7 or something to get on the road to go to the next day of the workshop. And I was like, how am I in this predicament again? Like, I really want to make the most of my day. Like, I have a whole nother day of the workshop. And so I prayed to spirit. I prayed to God. I was like, hey, because that's how I connect to spirit, through God. Everyone connects through a different pathway. Um, and I go, hey, like, I just need some help in some way. Can you offer me some help? And we were doing guide work too in that class, working with, it was a spirit guides class. It was all about spirit guides. And so then I remember waking up kind of like in the middle of the night, and I woke up and my whole body just felt warm. Like it felt unusually warm, right? And I was just like, oh, I feel very like rested on a weird level. I'm still very tired, but you know, I was just aware that I felt like really warm and kind of like in this deep cocooned rest. And I woke up from the dream because I like I kind of was like tousled awake. How do I describe it? So I was dreaming, I was tousled awake by the dream that I saw, and when I was starting to wake up for a second, I was very just warm, and I felt like this energy around me. But the dream was that tousled me awake was I saw these like blue beans, and they had an outline of white energy, and they didn't have any particular distinguishing facial features. They were just like blue and white energy, and there's 3 of them, and they were, like, looking at me, and I just knew that they were sending me energy. And, I got something like, I don't know, 6 hours of sleep that night, and I woke up and I felt quite rested. I felt very rested, and I was like, "Wow, that's I feel way better. I feel way better." Not only did I see this thing, and the dream was very like vivid, very lucid, very, clear. So not only did I have this experience and I was wondering where the energy guidance was coming from, the spirit world, a guide or, a different being, but I had energy and I felt really rested, and I felt very loving, I felt very at peace. So there was a spiritual rest, and physical rest, right, which created actually emotional tranquility too as well, and mental tranquility. So yep, that's the closest experience I've had. I've seen like lights in the sky and stuff, but I've seen nothing dramatic where I was just like, "Oh, I gotta stop right now," and you know what I mean. But I've had other friends that have. So really, really interesting experiences. And hey, Shaylee, how are you? How you doing? We're going to be taking some readings. People just put down your numbers. Dawn asked for a reading, so let's do a general reading with her, and then Shaylee, if you're still in the stream, we will take you. Okay. So Dawn, let's pull some cards for you. So Candy, I hope that gave you some kind of perspective, because I think it's hard to talk about aliens unless you've had some like really interesting experiences where you go, we're not sure what this is, but here, here's something to add to the mix. Okay, Dawn. Okay, Dawn. Thank you, Candy. The energy that I'm getting for you, Dawn, is there is a imbalance going on with like your physical energy level. So been tired a lot. And it's just about needing to have more of a balance with how you go about your day, and really looking into your health and going, what is good for me? What stimulates my senses and makes me feel like I'm having a fun day, a great day, but also is in the bigger picture most well-rounded good for me. The reason I talk about that is sometimes like like we all need to have rest time. We all need to have to recoup our energy. And so sometimes that's like computer games, TV. I'm just doing examples, random examples, or sitting out in the garden, um reading a book. But the reason I highlight it is because if we're just reading a book all day, or watching TV all day, or just sitting out in the garden all day, there's not a lot of physical movement. And if we're just watching TV, our eyes become really strained, right? And so there's certain parts of our energy that are hyper strained, and then there's other parts of our energy that are not being used. Like I can feel like that. I go, wow, I feel out of whack, and then I need to go for a walk, right? Or I need to meditate, and I need to close my eyes so my eyes aren't overworked. And so there's these certain parts of our senses that just take on too much energy sometimes. And it will cause us to crash, or will cause us all of a sudden to be like, I don't know, I don't feel good. I have a headache right now, or I feel moody. Like, I feel out of balance. I don't know why. I don't know why. Was it something I ate? Did I not get good sleep? And it's like, no, like our energy is just not balanced. And so it's letting me know that there's been ups and downs within the energy and the way that you go about your day. You just have to make sure your body is more balanced and your mind's more balanced. And it's going to actually phenomenally change the way that you feel. And it will get you into a place where you do feel like you are more focused again, and you do feel like you are in more control of quality of life. Um, I feel like, it's about when we feel like we're not in control of our energy. Sometimes there's things happening around us with friends and family, and we go, I don't know what's up with them. I don't know what's up with them. And it's almost like people are being mysterious, or people aren't being forthcoming. And it's like the more grounded we are, and the more we're taking care of ourselves, the more we're able to follow where the truth is, the more we're not confused, or the guise is not put on us. So there's been a lot of, I think, like question marks and uncomfortableness with some of the answers that you want to find about what's going on with some friends or family. It's one of the two I'm feeling. And it's like, yes, things are not always what they seem, but the more we're out of whack with our own energy, the more we feel deceived. And the more we're incongruent and balanced with our energy, the more we go, wow, things aren't what they seem. So I'm just going to do me. And I know I can't trust those people. So do you understand? It goes from not, if we're balanced, we go, I can't trust you right now. Just tell me the truth. And then your meter on what's going on is locked in. If we're not feeling good, if we're not feeling healthy, we go, I don't know what's going on. I'm pissed off at you. Like, why are you doing this to me? Right. So that we approach things from different perspectives and different angles. So I feel like the stresses of what's going on around you will greatly be appeased by you focusing on health, balance, and tranquility. And this is really connected to, I think, like um just having better people around you. I think like that's like an issue in the past, of needing more friends, needing more good people around you. That's coming up. And s- going forward, as you continue to work on your health, on self-care, self-love, I do feel like there's going to be this resurgence of health that's really going to surprise you. And you're gonna start to do the things that you want. I know that sounds like very simple, but it's very true. Like I don't feel like you're doing the things that you want. If someone was like, "What do you want?" You'd be like, "Well, I don't know." Right? I don't know. Uh, and it's just that mental fog is just connected to the imbalance. And once you put more time and consideration in your own health and your own needs, and have a more variety and balanced lifestyle, so just take that into account, I feel like that mental fog is going to lift, and you're going to start, you know physically feeling better, and actually start going out and doing things you want to do, because right now there's kind of not the motivation there as much as you would like. You're like, well, I'd like to do that, but it doesn't really matter. And it's like just kicking forward in the future of, okay, yeah, I know what I'm gonna do. Heck, I'm gonna go do it. Even if it's alone, I'm gonna go do it. Okay. So that was for Dawn. And Dawn, hopefully you can understand some of those themes around you. And then Shaylee. Shaylee, you are next. And we will see if you are with us right now.
Hello.
Hey Shaylee, how you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. How are you?
If I may ask, can I have your numbers for a reading?
What numbers?
Oh, so I usually do numerology readings on here.
Cool.
So I take someone's birthday and I get into their energy.
Perfect. 3/16/1984. I'm a 5.
You said 1984, and then you said, "Oh, I'm a life path 5," right?
Yeah, I'm a 5. I have 3 5s in my chart actually, and then my birthday's a 7.
That's cool though. That's cool. Yeah, personal day 7, attitude 1, and then yep, life path 5. Okay, cool. And you're in a cycle of okay, wow. All right, so you have a lot of mental energy Like you're someone that picks up things very quickly. You're very much in the moment kind of person. When there's a lot of ones, sevens, and fives in someone's chart, they get bored easily too. So they need to really be stimulated a lot. And they
Mm.
also need to have a lot of self-sufficiency and independence. So you need people in your life that support your independence and will give you time and space when you need it. And it's only a rare person, really, that you will go out of your way for if they are saying like, "Hey, I need you around. Like, I really want your attention." It's it's very much a needed thing for you to expand and explore and meet new people and have new experiences. It's important for your energy. It also is important that you have not the same job, whether it's the field, or the focus. That's what I'm trying to say to you, and as well as the time frame of how long you are in that career. So it is very normal and needed for you to every couple of years, if you want, if you feel it, to go to a different job.
Yes.
And yeah.
I'm in between jobs currently.
Yeah, well, that's okay, because for
Hmm.
your numbers, it's the perfect time to just configure and just be like, what do I want to do now? And you can reset your energy.
Yes.
And that's why it's great. It's like if anything has bogged you down, you have a chance to recreate and reset. Um, Yeah. And what I want to give you too as well is, so you're an attitude one. So you really do go to the beat of your own drum, and in the way of that, like I'll say this in a funny way, like you can be stubborn, but honestly, if you've made up your mind, you know, you're gonna do it.
Yep.
Yep. And no one can tell you otherwise. And just please never use that, because that's very healthy for you, because it's so strong of who you are. So if you're ever in a relationship, if you ever like have someone who's an authority that makes you question doing your instinct, or you're like, I don't want to do this, and they're like, tough luck, you're gonna do this.
Oh yeah,
Um,
doesn't work.
yeah. Unless it's like for like a week and you go back to normal, you need to get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that doesn't work. People try to make me do stuff my whole life, and I'm like, I will not unless I want to. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, and please, the reason I say that is I know some attitude ones later on in life where they're going through some really like difficult things, but maybe they're in their 60s, right? And I go, "Hey, this is pretty difficult, the situation is for you." And they're like, "Yeah, it is. It's like really taxing and trying." I'm like, "Well, you're an attitude one. Don't you never let this stuff happen normally?" And they're like, "Well, now that you mention it, no, but this has really bogged me down." So I'm just giving you some future advice, as if anything has bogged you down and you don't have that like chutzpah that I need to get out, I don't like this, or I need to change this right now.
Mm.
But you're so tired, you need to light fire under your butt, and you need to get back into the energy.
I'm there right now, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, all right. Is this regarding relationship?
Oh, just regarding everything my whole life.
Your whole life. Okay. So this is regarding career, relationship, family,
Yes.
finances.
Yes. Dental work.
Oh yeah, dental work is fun. No job. Oh gosh, right? Oh, I just clicked something. I just clicked something. There you go. All right. I
I
clicked
found
you
out
off.
here that so I've never really had any dental issues my entire life, and I broke a molar a couple of months ago, and then but they're broke on both sides on the bottom, and so I finally went in because it got really painful, and my insurance. Well, I got fired 2 weeks ago, but my insurance was still good, but it only covers 50%. So they wanted to do root canals and then crowns. But the out of pocket for that is like $1,500. So I'm screwed. I'm not happy that I have to pull my teeth. And then so it's been a lot, yeah.
It's been a lot. I mean, that is something that, so spirit is showing me while you're talking about that you're putting it on hold way more than you should. So the healthiest thing for your body and for taking care of yourself. Because if it's like, if you had a loved one and they went through a medical issue where it could lead to a lot more pain or a lot more physical things coming up, you'd be like, take care of it, especially if it was someone you really loved.
Mm-hmm.
And out for, you're like, I'll help you take care of it. We'll figure out something. There's got to be a way, right?
Oh yeah.
The
If I
same
would have went to
enthusiasm.
the dentist today, I can honestly say, I mean, yeah, Spirit was young. I mean, probably it would have turned, what is that where it can kill you? Like,
Cantankerous?
septic or whatever. When the infection gets so bad that I don't remember what it is, but yeah, I let it go too far. Spirit wasn't happy.
Okay, so I'm just making sure I'm in like the right time frame. So it's like you said they gave you the amount, and so you're not, because it's like I'm just making, so okay, just let me know where we're at. So I'm like, in my head I'm like, oh, you have this amount that you have to pay to fix it. And I previously was like, oh, are you kind of like hanging in between, if you're gonna do things, so you haven't officially accepted fixing it, correct? Is that where we're at?
Well, my insurance will cover getting my teeth just pulled, which is going to be horrible because I'm going to
Right?
not have wisdom. Sorry.
It's okay.
My insurance will cover that, but it won't cover the root canals. So, yeah, I'm just going to have to get my teeth pulled.
Okay. I do. So here's what I'm getting. The energy of what I'm getting is that you have to take care of your health. So we have to come up with that health plan. So there's like a possible health plan with that. I
Mm,
do really feel like you could be in a place to come up with the money. If you're not comfortable with this surgery going the way it is, and it could go a different way, I actually feel like you could come up with the money. Like
well, I have like
within
$50 to my name right now.
but I just want to give you some perspective. So like a credit card payment is like 30 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think you could come up with the money in 30 days. And I do think, like, if it came to paying it off, it wouldn't be that much. It's so if you are, wrestling with the idea of having teeth pulled that don't have to be pulled, there is a way. Like, you're the type of person that can cook something up in a jiffy. You have to put your
That's
mind
true.
to, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you're as backed into a corner with payment as you think you are. It's not going to be it's not going to be easy, but like in 30
Well, it's out
days,
of pocket. They want that out of pocket. They want that like paid the day I get it done.
correct. And you could hand them a credit card, and you could, in 30 days, work out a way to pay that off. That's what I'm saying. I don't
Yeah,
think you're as backed up in a wall. Like, I can't pay for this. I have to have my teeth pulled, and I don't want them pulled.
true. I did get a job today though.
See, again, like the money, the money piece is, it's there. And even if the job sucks, because I don't feel love for the job completely, like, you stay there for a little bit and you pay off what you need to pay off, and you don't have to get your teeth pulled. Like, again, don't back yourself into a corner. Just like, be there for a month and then change ship again if you want to.
100%. Yes. No, I have a Virgo moon and a Virgo rising. So I don't do well when I'm not working. I have to work. So yeah, and I'll work. And if I don't like the job, I'll find something different. But yes, absolutely, 100%. And I don't like being broke, and I support myself. So
Right. It's just like, you're right. You need to keep busy, and you're very resourceful. It's just, I just want to give you some confidence. Don't make any decisions that make you feel uncomfortable if there is a better option for your health and you feel like it's going to affect you long run. You will
thank
figure
you.
out a way, for sure. You will figure out a way to feed yourself, support yourself. It's going to be like a little bit stressful, but this is the time to really dig deep, because things are going to come out of the blue as you need them. And I don't want you to feel like, again, you're making any decisions where you're going to regret in the long term, because you can pay this off. So don't settle. Okay.
Thank you. I needed to hear that. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're in a cycle. The last thing I'll say before I love and leave you, you're in a cycle of 7, and so this is a time where things actually this year needs to be a lot of about self-reflection. Um, when someone's in a cycle of 7, there's a lot of pauses within your life. Your life will actually um, either pause or reject certain things that you've chosen. And
Oh
you'll go,
yeah.
why didn't that work? You're like, well, why didn't that work? And you're left with all this time and you're like kind of itching because you're just like, I need something, or, I just, why didn't this work? And there's like, there's a lot of it's like, you know how when you have a plan, it doesn't go well, like you just don't like yourself, you know? For a moment you get like really, down. Do you know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
I don't. I
And
do. Yes. I just don't make plans.
okay, all right. Well, I'm just saying
But
the
yes.
cycle the cycle of 7, what it does, it's no matter what happens this year, whether there's a pause or reject of plans or circumstances, or even if people reject you, the cycle 7 is meant for you to have a quieter year. So those things are actually supposed to happen. So you're alone in your
Oh,
apartment
cool.
or wherever, and
Yeah.
you start having thoughts and considerations. Why am I here?
Mhm.
What do I really need to do with my life? Who do I really want to be? Because when you're going and going and doing and you're going fast like you normally do, you're never going to have time to consider that. You're just on to the next thing.
Mhm.
And that cycle 7 makes you slow down, even if it's painful. So you make better decisions and you evolve into a different person. That's the best thing that you can possibly need. And be strong, for yourself, a stronger advocate for everything that you do in life.
100%. You just like described my thoughts. Yeah, it's been a tough year, and yes, I was ghosted by 7 people in a row.
That's a
And
lot.
yeah, so that's crazy about the 7. And then like last year was a 6. I didn't like the 6 either, but and then we're collectively in a 6 this year, so I had to repeat the 6 collectively. But yeah, I don't like the 7. I'm ready to move on. And yes, I've been very alone. Like I've never been so alone in my life, like losing my mind.
Well, there's a reason for this down period, so you can change things, and next year you can have more people around you, more, next year's a great year for making money. It's just you can have everything you want. It's just if you're repeating the things of the past, the 7 goes, we're going to slow you down so you make sure you don't do that again.
Yeah, so true. Wow, that's crazy. What's your life path
Absolutely.
number?
What's mine? It's a
Mhm.
2.
Oh,
I'm a
cool.
2.
Very
Yep.
cool. That's all. Have you ever looked into cardology?
Cardiology? No, you mean like with astrology, right?
Kind of. It's like, let's see, what's your birthday and your birth month? Just your day and your month.
I got to go on to some other people. I appreciate these questions, though.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you
Okay.
what you were. I'm a 7 of diamonds, but it's called cardology. If you want to learn something new, you should look into it. I think you would like it.
No, no, sure. Message me, and we'll talk about it. I'm always up for learning about it. Just, if you want to, I'm happy to share whatever. So, just message me if you want to have a discussion about that. I'd be happy to do it. But no, I appreciate it. It's Shaylee, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Shaylee, I appreciate it, Shaylee.
I appreciate
I'm
you.
gonna,
Thank you.
I, absolutely. I'm gonna jump to the next person, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. You're amazing. I appreciate you.
You're awesome. Bye. Okay. So Kevin. Hi, Kelly. This conversation is really connecting close to home today. I'm glad there's like overlapping themes of why we have certain conversations or why we have certain readings. Would love a general read. Okay, so Kevin. Pulling your numbers. Okay. Just double checking the math on that, Kevin. So I have you as attitude 7, personal day 6, and 1. This is a 9. Yep. And then we got a life path 8. There you go. That's right. All right. Yeah, it's so fun. When you go psychic, your brain does not want to do math. So I have a super fun time. I really do. That's all of a sudden while I'll like just like stare off into space and be like, come on, brain, work like you're supposed to. It's hilarious. It really is. So Kevin, you are in a cycle of 4. And when someone's in a cycle of 4, there's a lot of emphasis on the home life. Okay, so what happens is 4 is all about foundation, having consistency, having something to build upon. And in a cycle of 4, it's about changing our habits for the better. It's about changing our schedule. We might find that we start doing things that are different from things that we had done 10 years before, even though we have, let's say, needs and preferences, we start tweaking it. And that 4 is all about, having the foundations, planting the seeds for something newer. And so a lot of times people start like reconfiguring their environment, redecorating, or even getting ready to sell their house. Those are very much themes within a cycle 4. They're just like, what serves me now? And it's just how you set up your energy. It doesn't have to deal with other people. It has to deal with your daily routine and self. Okay. It's also a slower year. So a cycle 4 is a slower year. Things don't happen as quickly because there needs to be systematic built upon change. Last year, for instance, was a busier year. Cycle 3's that's last year for you, Kevin. Last year, more people were around, more opportunities were around. It was just a busier year. Things happened that you're like, oh wow, and I'm here. And in 4, it's a quieter year, so you're going to get a little bit of the opposite of that energy if you're looking for kind of the question of why is it going a little bit differently. Well, that's the reason. We're in different cycles and different energies enact. You're an attitude 7. So an attitude 7, they're very analytical people. Okay, so I always talk about this. Someone with an attitude 7 that hasn't found their faith or their belief of a bigger purpose or a bigger thing than themselves can be actually quite cynical people. The people who have found their faith and they feel like there's something bigger than themselves in the universe. What they are they become these natural truth seekers. So they're very stimulated by knowledge and they want to take it to the maximum. They're like, if I'm interested in this, let's find out how it works. And what's needed for that is a lot of alone time. Okay, so I want to encourage the fact that you need a lot of alone time to be yourself, because yourself involves thinking. It's almost like people with 7, sometimes they have like very naturally inventive minds. They come up with great ideas. They're problem solvers. They come up with solutions. And you need a certain quiet and space to be able to find those solutions and those ahas and those eureka moments. So really provide that for yourself. You can do whatever you want in life, but just give yourself definitely some alone time and make sure people respect that, that love you, respect your boundaries when you need it to as well, because that leads and is connected to your happiness. Your life path 8. So that's really important to talk about too. Anyone who's a life path 8, they're going to be really concerned at the end of the day with like excellence, and they're very detailed people. And when someone's a life path 8, they need to be in a form of management. It doesn't have to be classical, but they have to be overseeing people, right? So it's like you have to be leading meetings. You have to be responsible for a team in some way, or you have to be an entrepreneurial. You have to be an entrepreneur. That's right. And so what happens is an 8 has the attitude always of, it's like, I have a solution to that. And not only do you have a solution, but I can do it really good and I can do it better no offense, then you can. Not because not because I maybe want you to know it like that. It's just because I just see the inner workings so well, and I could actually produce something of quality. And I think I have a better way to do it. I think I can help you. And so you do have to insert yourself into situations. And if you're not supported by a partner or a family member with the way that you always want to help and improve things, you do have to do that with your hobbies or ways that you can help other people. That's how you feel fulfilled. Eight is also sevens and eights. They deal with concepts of truth more so than the other numbers, honestly, especially from that cerebral perspective and what they want to give to the world in physical forms. But the eight makes it physical. So you have to keep yourself busy, and you have to be providing a service where you're making things better for people around you. That gives you tremendous peace and tremendous happiness. And so I'm going to give this to you, Kevin, because I do think you are made to be kept quite busy still within your life. Busy, but with enough boundaries where you can be unique, inventive, creative, and what's that word? It's not, the word's not coming to me. It's like when quirky and genius are combined. But you have to keep your quirky genius, okay? So keep busy and get to work. All right. Thank you so much, Kevin. Let's see who is next. We'll do a couple quick ones. Sinazao. Sinazao. Okay. She wants a general reading. All right. Right. I'm using my own deck. Oh, I got to put these cards back in the deck. Isn't it funny when you read sometimes and you have cards to the side, you got to throw them back into the deck. So I'm using my own deck. I have the card creation class coming up. You know, I have cards, very simple cards. The card creation class coming up, it teaches you how to make your own cards. Anyone could make their own cards. You don't need a class to do it. But if you want to learn how to make cards that are really connected to your soul, if you feel like you're like, how do I do it, right? Or the concepts of what makes an excellent reading, or the concepts of how you can create cards to get the most out of it for your individual personality, then come on by. The information is up on my website and on my social media. Yep, got to share. I love doing it, so I got to share it. If I don't talk about it, right? Then if I don't talk about how are people going to come to the class, right? I like to be practical like that. But okay, here we go. So this is for, oh, where did her name go? There it is. Sinazao. See, now I hope I'm saying it right. All right, here we go. All right. Just looking at this configuration. All right. So what Spirit is showcasing to me is that sometimes you push yourself too much, okay? And right now you need to be having fun. It's summer. I pulled a summer song card for you. So that's about like celebrating it's summer, enjoying. If you can have time to have some vacation, great. Get into that before summer is over. Just lean into that. Or if you're not able to have vacation, then I need you to just like go out and lounge, soak up the sun, find some friends, do something in the area fun, like a day trip, or even, you know, a fun activity like I'm hoping at the end of the week to see a play. That's how I'm enacting my summer song, and I've been having this hankering to play some basketball. Right, the basketball. whether it costs a little bit of money or it's free, like shooting some hoops basketball, right? You got to enact your summer song. You gotta have fun. That's what's worth it. You got to recharge your energy. You got to recharge your soul. So the energy that I'm seeing though attached to this is you're pushing yourself too much, and you have certain expectations, but you don't know how the future is going to go. So then you're worrying and you're pushing yourself too much. You're like, we got to get to this point, or I got to make sure I have time to do this. And I feel like you have goals, but it's just like you're uncertain of the future, and that's why you're pushing yourself even more. Okay, this is also connected to God, I keep feeling the energy of like worrying on some level. Okay. And so I got the feeler card in a position where um whether it's been a theme of the past or something that is coming up a lot, I do feel like when, let's say, you're uncertain about a situation, don't let it offset how you completely feel. um and don't let it offset on how you're enjoying your life, because you could be meeting all your goals and you're like maybe not sure how to get there, but life is still good, and lean into life is feeling good, and really feeling the gratitude, really feeling the compassion of others and yourself, and how you made it through that situation, and celebrate life, the need to really celebrate life, because that's going to really heal your heart. That's going to really heal others around you. And that's going to attract others to actually want to help you with what you're working on, and band other people together. If you're having a good time, if you're celebrating life, people are attracted to that energy. And if you want to attract people, and if you want to, it's like, well, where are all my people at? I got some goals. I got to do stuff. Well, yeah, hey, if you're celebrating and partying with life, people will find you. They'll like your energy. This all goes back to being the master of your own fate. I feel like, again, the reason why you're hard on yourself is you got some clear goals, and you really want to get there, and you really kind of want to carve and create this life for yourself. And the really important energy that I'm coming back to is, that's great, but I need you to enjoy it fully along the way. And the celebration energy is going to actually be the key to making those goals come to you even faster. Okay. And then the last one, a deck that TIY made. TIY made. Wow, what is TIY? My brain is not figuring out acronyms right now. That I'm just, let's see. Thank you, Kelly. I love you. It was a nice boost. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Kevin. Do I sell them? Do I sell the ones that I made? No. In the future, I do want to create a deck. I don't sell the ones that I've made. That'd be cool though. I create and use the ones that I create, and I try to encourage people. Like I've mentored people over the years, and for anyone who does love cards, I encourage them to make their own decks, and I guide them through them. So there's been people over the years that I've worked with, and as they make cards, I make cards, and I've compiled my own deck. And I like to encourage that for others, because it's really inside of us. There's, of course, this is great, like this is a deck right here. It's great, but there's nothing. I don't want to take away the greatness of decks. Like John Holland's awesome. And so he came up with some ideas and symbols and colors and energy, and he created that deck. And it's special because, it comes from the imagination of John. And, this deck is special because it comes from the imagination of Kelly. And, Jesse Cat, if you created a deck, or Jill or Chaley, it would come from the imagination of you. And everyone is intuitive. Everyone has the skills, everyone has the gifts. And if you know your own signs and symbols, let me tell you, it's a heck of a lot easier. If you're wondering how to read cards, than reading someone else's cards, it's a heck of a lot easier if you make your own cards. Again, it's whatever you're attracted to. Some people want a system of symbols. And sometimes when we're making our cards and we don't know enough about our symbology, maybe reading someone else's deck is going to be easier because they've given us a palette to work with more information when we pull one card, right? Like, for instance, give you an example. Like, I have 2 cards from my deck. There's like mental energy, very, very simple card, right? And the number 7, there's a reason the number 7 is on that card. And then there's growing force. Well, it looks like there's more going on in growing force, like more color, more growth, more busyness, So it's like maybe someone, depending on their personality type and their needs, they would have an easier time reading growing forest than mental energy. And other people would have an easier time reading mental energy than growing forest. And it just depends on who you are as an individual and what signs and symbols and colors and how your brain works. And so some people really do appreciate the complexity of some of the other decks out there, right? And they feel like they can really work for them. But then other people are just like, I want to learn about my own energy, right? And so to do that is very, very helpful. Whether or not you use your cards or not a lot, is just it helps with spiritual development and signs and symbology and reading energy. It's incredibly helpful. And that's why I teach the class and that's why I love it. So I don't sell the cards, but I create the cards and I teach other people how to create their own cards too. Um, let's see. Let's see. Yes. Absolutely. Yes, please, everyone, do your own cards. I'm telling you, these are, if people, I like to, take away the mystery. These are index cards, y'all. These are, these are index cards that were just birthed. I've told the story before. The inception of their birth is I went to Lilydale to teach a psychic, Lilydale, New York, to teach a psychic kids class. And I really wanted to give that to the kids. I thought it was a great exercise. And I brought a bunch of index cards, and that those were the first cards that I created. I believe this is one of them. I believe. So I created this card in 2018, right? And it was during a kids workshop. And then I did the rest by myself or with not kids over the years with different students. And it comes together. In this deck was built very organically over the years. So don't think you have to force yourself and sit and pump out 40 cards in one night. Just let it happen organically. And I used to have those cards like slowly, bit by bit. And the initial exercise that we did, and the one that we'll do in the workshop on the 28th or the 29th, it's open on 2 days, depending when people are wanting to come, when they're able to come. You start with 4 or 5, depending when you can get it done, right? You start with 4 or 5 cards and you just get familiar with those 4 or 5 cards. If you can do a reading consistently with 4 or 5 cards, you have your symbology down. You know what it means. You know what it means at its foundation, and then you know what it can mean depending on the person in front of you, because that card should be changing for the person that is in front of you that you are reading for, as well as have a fixed symbology. And you really learn how to do that and learn how to be a wonderful card reader. Okay. So start with 4 or 5 cards, maybe 10. 10 is great. And just practice, and then build your deck. Okay. So I'm very passionate about it. I am. That's why I keep talking about it. And then let's do because I said I was going to do a reading for them. I'm going to do the quickest read. Forgive me for being so quick. It was Sherry. I said I was going to pull something for Sherry. Okay, Sherry. I'm going to just pull you a quicker read. Okay. All right, all right, there you go. And what I do is everyone reads a different way, like I just start shuffling and whatever cards jump out at me, I pull. And it's not in a sequential order, let me tell you. I just go, oh, this card's for the past. Okay, this card's upcoming. This card is something they're working on. And I just pop it down depending on how I feel that pull. And everyone's different. There's no right one way. Okay. So, Sherry. Okay. So, wow, I got Summer Song for you and Unraveling the Mystery. I got some of those cards a little earlier. There's a reason I got them again. And it's just, I think, it's almost like this is showcasing me again that there needs to be emphasis on fun this summer. It's like things are a little topsy-turvy, and to simplify whatever craziness is going on or complexity is going on, just make sure that you simplify your plans and make it so you can at least just have the joy of just have the joy of having a moment for yourself and determining what that moment is. I just feel like there's too much going on right now, and it's a little bogging down, and it's creating stress. It's creating stress. I do feel like going into the future, there needs to be more emphasis on health. And also, if you could have a friend that helps to encourage that, like whether it's like a friend you go on walks with, or a workout buddy, or a friend that does psychic development with you, or intuitive development, or meditation, or yoga. I just feel like there's too much going on, and we need to do kind of like we need to like strip down the life and make it a little bit more basic. And sometimes what I like to do is kind of like declutter the house, right? Go through some old boxes, release old energy, if things are too crazy, if you feel like your own home is a little bit too much, then you change the energy in it. So take some past energy away, make things a little bit more simple, and kind of reset your energy, put more emphasis on your health, and have some friends where you can have accountability, or have some friends where you can explore some of your positive growth, whether spiritually or physically, that you're wanting to do. And I feel like you've wanted your life. You said like, hey, I want things to be happier, healthier, better. I want things to be simpler. And it's just it's just a igniting of letting you know that the universe has felt that, and now a reminder of let's get that going again. Okay, so that's what I'm getting for you. And so everyone, we have the show next week for readings. We do readings every Friday. So if you want to come back and get your readings, I will be here next week, Friday. And then also on Wednesday, every Wednesday. So we have the Psychic Hour interview series on Wednesday, and the Psychic reading show on Fridays, right? And next week, that's upcoming, we're going to be having Torun Anderson, and she is a healer. So she's also a psychic medium too, but she deals largely with energetic healing. That's her main focus. So it's going to be really interesting to hear about how she teaches, how she connects to energy, and how she channels and works with spirit in that capacity. So, and we're going to have a little bit earlier show for it's going to be 11 Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, because she's in Sweden, right? We have someone overseas, a Swedish medium healer. So we're having it a little bit earlier for Wednesday. So come on by, have your questions for Torun, and also have your questions if you have about anything spiritual, and also pop down your questions for next week, Friday, for anything about your life. It was a pleasure as always, and I wish you well until next week. So please go with love, light, luck, and don't forget to live, everybody. Thank you so much.